Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. All right, I was meditating, upon this topic here, dealing with FEMA camps or isolation camps or internment camps or, whatever name you want to give it. And how, as we know, all right, biblically, that they are gonna, open these things up, and it's gonna become a reality for individuals on the planet Earth, especially here in Babylon. All right, and we speak about it, but also keeping in mind, as the scriptures say, that some of us are gonna be put in these camps, in these FEMA camps, these isolation centers, these various types of prisons. And some of us are not gonna make it out. We're not. Some of us are just gonna, be martyred, as the scriptures say. But dealing more so with the reality of actually being in a FEMA camp, or finding yourself in a FEMA camp, we also have to prepare mentally for that, because nobody really wants to end up in a FEMA camp. But we don't ultimately know how the Lord has our story go, and if you do find yourself in a concentration camp, you just have to remember, and I have two precepts here, or I have two different accounts, and just remembering Romans 15:4, what was written aforetime was written for our learning. Understand that is not nothing new. All right, it's not anything new. It's not, you're not the first person to have been thrown into a prison, all right, or anything of that sort. And as a matter of fact, there's a reason why the Lord has you there, which you will have to find out then. But you have to remember to still keep your trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And if it gets to the extreme, as Job said, though he slay me, yet will I, maintain my trust in him. So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer," because there's going to be a lot of suffering going on. "Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." All right, now let's look up the word prison here, which we understand the devil in this context isn't the actual spiritual demon Satan. Now it says here, it's really dealing with his physical counterpart, Esau Edom, starting with these elites. All right, now when you look up the word prison, it says guard, watch, a watching. It says persons keeping watch, a guard, sentinels of the place where captives are kept, a prison. And it's becoming more so of a reality, dealing with how they're targeting those that don't have the bite and those that don't want to get it. And we're seeing the direction headed towards them actually leading up to them rounding people up and them, putting them in isolation centers, whether they're with it or against their will. But as the scriptures say, you're going to be tried and have tribulation 10 days, which could be any period of time. All right. But it says, "Be thou faithful unto death." So, the Lord could have you in there for a reason, to where he could deliver you or have you help deliver somebody else, or he might have you in there to fulfill a role of, glorifying him through your body, and like Stephen, for an example. But we are to remember that if you do, Lord willing, it doesn't happen, but it could. The most it's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's plan. But you there's a chance that you could get split up from your loved ones, and they might get taken somewhere else, and you might get taken somewhere else. And that's not for you to lose your faith over that. You can't say, well, I thought that would only happen to the 2/3. You might find yourself in situations where you may, I thought this was something that would only happen to the no. The Most High could put you. Matter of fact, if you look at the predicament that our forefathers of old were in prior to them getting delivered, well, you could say, oh shit, I thought that would only happen to wicked individuals, right? I mean, if they're about to, the Lord is allowing them to throw you into a lion's den or throw you into the midst of fire, before he delivers you, you might say, oh, that's a death sentence. That's judgment. But what happened? They got delivered. So, we might find ourselves in situations that may seem initially as a judgment, that may seem initially as death or painful or unbearable. Okay, but we have to remember, as the scriptures say, I believe it's 1 Corinthians, let's see. All right, the Lord said that he would make a way for us. Okay, 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, it says, there hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to men. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. So whatever we're going to go through, even as it says, have tribulation 10 days, we're all going to find ourselves in different situations. And the Lord is going to have it to where you're not going to be in a situation, if you're of the elect, that is too much for you to handle. Okay? It says, but will with temptation always, or also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. You see, so, like I said, you might find yourself in a FEMA camp or a concentration camp or an isolation center. You might find yourself getting handcuffed. You might find them separating you. But if you're beloved of the Lord, you need to fear not. Okay, don't fear, because even if you do get separated from your woman or your daughter or your family, you have to trust that they'll be safe. You have to trust that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is going to protect them, and no evil, no harm is going to come to them. Because usually you have like in movies and TV shows and shit like that. Whenever they split, and the man gets separated from his daughter or his wife. You already know what they do to the women. Okay, but you have to have faith that the Lord will not allow that. Okay, for your sake. But you have to have that faith to keep you stable. Okay, and that's an example of Isaiah 33 and 6, stability of the mind. Because people bug out. Oh my gosh, I don't know where they're taking her or taking them, taking my kids, or where they're taking me. How will I ever find them? When you start thinking like that, you're not thinking spiritually. You're thinking carnally. How will I ever find them? Well, if you find them, all right, that's going to be because the Lord led them to you or led you to them. All right. So fear not, because the Lord can have it to where they get, transported somewhere. The Lord could take them somewhere safe where they'll be good throughout the whole time and get delivered, and you might see them on a chariot. You don't know, but you have to have faith that the Lord, whatever plans he has for you, all right, he has all avenues covered. Okay, so going back to the prison, all right, here it is, you're in a prison, you're there, it's not fun, whatever they're doing there, the food is trash, if they're even feeding you right, whatever the case may be, but always remember that the Lord put you there. The fact that you're there is because the Lord allowed it. That means that there's a reason. Okay, so as it says in Romans 8, I believe around the 28th verse, that all things work to the good of them that love Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So you can't let anything separate you from your faith and your love for the Lord. All right. So now I'm going to go to the book of Acts chapter 12 verse, and I'll just start at 1. It says, now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And so now you think that was something easy? That wasn't easy. Okay. Of course they were spiritual men, but I mean, in a situation like that, that's, you still gonna, feel a type of way about that. All right. But did they lose faith and quit the ministry because of that? No, they kept it pushing. And it says, and because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. So this was around the time of the Passover. All right. It says, and when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison, as we just read in Revelation 2:10, that is going to happen to some of us. All right. It says, and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending that after Easter to bring him forth to the people. All right, so after the days of the Passover, the Passover and because that word Easter really goes back to the Greek Pascal, which goes back to the Hebrew Pesach, which is Passover. Okay, which is not just the day, but the feast of unleavened bread following. All right, suit as well. So it says, Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto the Most High for him. So that's an example. Even of course, brothers are going to be praying, but when you're in if you end up in a camp, okay, you should also be praying. That should be your main thing, praying. Okay. It says, and when Herod would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between two soldiers, bound with two chains, and the keepers before the door kept the prison. All right, so he was sleeping, but he had faith. I mean, he had been with Yahushua, okay, heard certain things, been told certain things, walked on water for a quick minute, performed miracles in the name of the Lord. So what did he have to be scared of? Okay, so it says here, so now however long Peter was in prison for, that same night that he was going to be brought out, to be taken out, to be killed, that's when the Lord delivered him. So here it is. You might be in a prison and they might sentence you to death, and the Lord could have it to where that same day of your execution, all right, he delivers you. Okay, the Lord could have it to where your neck is on the guillotine and they're about to bring the blade down, all right, and he delivers you right then and there, or he lets them take your head off and you come to the spirit world. All right, but don't lose it just because, oh shoot, they got me there. Oh, I'm actually on my way to a camp, isolation center. Oh my gosh, I thought this was never happen to me. Well, it's all the will of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. You got to have faith. All right, just walk the path that the Lord leads you down, and believe that He will ultimately take you down the best path. So you just got to walk the path. Okay, so it says here, and when verse 6, and when Herod would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between two soldiers. So they had him in maximum confinement. They had them soldiers watching and making sure he was not going anywhere. It says bound with two chains. Now you may think, well, if I'm in a situation like this, how will I ever, make it out? If I even move a bit, they're gonna hear the chains. They're gonna feel my movement, and they're gonna be up and ready. Yo, what's going on? What you doing? It says, and the keepers before the door kept the prison. So you had some that were bound with him in the cell, some that were outside patrolling. Now how the hell is he going to escape? Verse 7, and behold, the angel of the Lord came upon him, and a light shined in the prison, and he smote Peter on the side. So that's an example of how when the angels come, they come to get the job done. They're not coming to chit chat. They're rough. They're austere. As it says, he smote Peter on the side to wake him up. It says, and raised him up. Okay, saying, arise up quickly. And his chains fell from his hands. So you have to really picture the scenario. All right. Now, imagine, say you have maybe a parent and they have a child. Maybe the child is like going down the wrong area, or like the child is crying or sitting on the ground or something, and the parent just comes and just grabs, when you grab your son or your daughter, by the arm, by the back, where the tricep area is, almost right underneath their shoulder, and you like pick them up, like let's go, and you holding them and you walking looking up. So you got to imagine that, because it says he smote him and raised him up. Okay, saying arise up quickly, like let's go, and his chains fell off from his hands. Imagine that, the chains because if you're in prison and they shackle you up, they make sure those chains are tight so that you ain't going nowhere. That's the point of being shackled up. Okay, but here they just fell off his hands. Light work. Okay, that's what you call light work. It says, verse 8, and the angel said unto him, gird thyself, okay, and bind on thy sandals, because back in the ancient world, the way we dressed, you had your undergarb, your what you would wear under, and then you would have like your cloak, or your tunic or whatnot, your garment. Okay, and sometimes you sleep in it. If it's hot, you don't. So he's basically telling, put your shit on, right, and bind on thy sandals. And so did he. And he saith unto him, cast thy garment about thee and follow me. So put your garment on and let's go. It says, and he went forth and followed him, and wist not that it was true, which was done by the angel, but thought he saw a vision. So however the angel did it, he did it, and he basically broke Peter out of prison. Okay, it says, when they were past the first and second ward, they came onto the iron gate that leadeth onto the city, which opened to them of his own accord. The gate just opened. Imagine that. The chains fall off. There's an angel leading you, all right, out of all this place, guarded with all these guards. You finally get to the front, and the doors just open for you. Like, go. That's the power of the Lord. That's why. What the hell you got to be worried about? You're afraid of being arrested? Well, the Lord can. What the hell's an arrest? It says, which leadeth into the city, which opened to them of his own accord. So the angel was still there with him, and they went out. So after they went out and passed on through one street, and forthwith the angel departed from him. So there was an angel sent to go, and his instructions to go and deliver Peter out of the prison, get him out of the prison. And after the angel got him out of the prison through one street, his job was done. He disappeared. Okay, let's see what they have for the word departed. All right. And the Lord can do that. The Lord can have it to where he delivers you from the camp, but he might just teleport you somewhere far, far away from it. Okay. It says, when you look up the word departed, it says to cause to withdraw, to go away, to depart from anyone, to desert, withdraw from someone, all right, to cease, to vex one, to withdraw oneself. Yeah, so pretty much we know how the angels do. It's likely he just disappeared, or went up into his chariot, or however. All right, but we know after that, after he had done his job, he just left. Okay, and so right then and there, that's an example. You can meditate on things like this. As a matter of fact, it's good to meditate on things like this in a situation like that, because look at the situation Peter was in. So you might find yourself in a similar situation, and you pray to the Lord. You say, well, there's a situation Peter was in where he got delivered, but then there was also a situation where John the Baptist was in, and he got put to death. And it could be either or for you, however the Lord has it set up. But you have to pray and have faith that whatever it is, it's nothing for the Lord to deliver you. It's an easy. As a matter of fact, he put you there. So if he didn't want you there, he would get you out just as easily as he put you there. So it's like having an undo button. The Lord can do whatever he wants. So don't panic. Don't panic. All right, now I have another one here, which is the book of Acts, chapter 16, verse 16. All right, this is dealing with Paul, and I believe he was with Silas. Okay, where let's actually read it real quick, because they also got thrown into prison, but this was for a different purpose. It says, and it came to pass, as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a spirit of divination met us, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying. The same followed Paul and us, and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High, which shew unto us the way of salvation. So she had a demon on her, but even still she was let it be known, yo, those are the men of the Lord. Verse 18, and this did she many days. But Paul, being grieved, turned and said to the spirit, I command thee in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach to come out of her. And he came out of her, and he came out the same hour, showing you that the angels, the demons, they're all males. Okay, because even though it was a damsel, it was a male that a masculine demon that was in her. Okay, so like it says, and he came out that same hour, which is that spirit that was on her. Verse 19, and when her masters saw that the hope of their gains was gone, they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers, and brought them to the magistrates, saying, these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city. And I believe this was in Corinth. Let's see. Let's see. Does it say exactly? Salakia, let's see. She was loosened from Troas and came straight to, and from thence to Philippi, Macedonia. All right, so it seems they were in Macedon. All right, it says here Philippi, Macedonia. So it might have been from here that they went, that Paul went to Athens or so. But I mean, just still hitting the point. So here he cast out that demon, and then the masters got upset because that was their money making scheme. So they brought them to the rulers. All right, it says here, and teach, verse 21, and teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. Okay, so once again, going back to going back to Yahushua. Okay, Peter was thrown in prison for that. James was killed for that. Paul and Silas were thrown in prison for that. Verse 22, and the multitude rose up together against them, and the magistrates rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them. When you get beaten, it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. It's not a sweet thing. So when you read it and it's just one verse and they got beat, and you may read it, it's not trivial. Getting beat does not feel good. It's not fun. But it's something they had to go through, and they took it like men of the Lord, and that's why you don't hear them complaining about it like that. Okay? But in real life, it's not a fun thing. Okay? And it's not an easy thing to just rejoice after getting your ass beat. But when the Spirit of the Lord is on you, that's the vibe, that's the energy. Okay, so it says verse 23, and when they had laid many stripes upon them, they cast them into prison. All right, charging the jailer to keep them safely, who, having received such a charge, thrust them into the inner prison and made their feet fast in the stocks. All right, they do that so that they couldn't move. All right, they couldn't move their feet. It says, and at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed. There we go, prayed and sang praises unto the Most High, and the prisoners heard them. Okay. So once again, if you find yourself in an isolation center, in an internment camp, in a concentration camp, in a FEMA camp, pray. You pray and meditate upon these accounts. Because guess what? In the past, we were in the same positions, and the Lord delivered us then, and He's going to deliver us now. Verse 26, and suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken. And immediately the doors were opened and everyone's bands were loosed. So I'm in maximum wherever confinement and they got me in some weird ass area. The Lord can get you out easier than they put you in there. Okay? It says, and the keeper of the prison, awaking out of his sleep and seeing the prison doors open, he drew out his sword and would have killed himself, supposing that the prisoners had been fled. But Paul cried with a loud voice, saying, do thyself no harm, for we are all here. All right, then it goes into how the guard basically repented and believed along with his family. Okay, and that was the reason why the Lord had Paul and Silas get thrown into prison, to do that. You see, so the Most High, Bahashem Yahushai, is with us. All right, when they allow certain things to happen to us, they haven't forsaken us or just disappeared. They're with us every step of the way. As Yahushai said, He is with us always, even to the end of the earth, the end of the world. Okay, so you don't have to fear. Just know if you find yourself there, or whatever situation you find yourself in, if it wasn't necessary, the Lord would not have allowed it. And if He did allow it, then it was necessary, and there's a need for you to be there to do whatever it is the Lord has set you up to do, man, woman, or child. Okay, so you have to just trust the Lord and just go with it. All right, and you'll be fine. Even in death, you'll be fine. So with that, I hope you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Brachak, Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.